Now I'm starting to piss myself off. I went 6-8 last week. That's the second time in 3 weeks I had just a horrible losing week. That's terrible. I'm not even picking against the spread for Christ's sakes. I'm just picking straight up. Schleg Daddy sucks right now, which I'm sure is not news to some of you, but it's like earth shattering to me. Nah, not really. Hopefully I'll do better here in week 11. Hopefully. I mean, I had Carolina over New Orleans on Thursday night. Whoop-de-doo. So at least I start off 1-0, but there's been plenty of other weeks where I've started off 1-0 and haven't done very well. Well, let's give it a stab, as OJ would say, and see how we do. In terms of the games this week, are there some good matchups? I'm kind of looking at the schedule right now, and I only see a couple of games that really interest me. A couple, and that's it. Ugh. Not the best week for NFL football, it looks like. Last week was pretty good, though. I mean, the featured games, I talked about it last week. I thought that there was a chance that the featured games could all deliver. And I think, especially in the case of Pittsburgh and Dallas, that game most certainly delivered. New England, Seattle most certainly delivered. And I think quietly, Cincinnati and the Giants delivered a close competitive game that was at least somewhat interesting. I made it all the way through it. So that's got to say something. All right, my picks this week. They're in the description box down below. You can mock me for them later. I'll take the Bengals over the Bills in a game where the loser is pretty much eliminated from playoff contention in the AFC. You've got Pittsburgh traveling to Cleveland, and there are a lot of elements at play here coming off of that choke job loss to the Cowboys last Sunday. The Steelers really need to win this game. They must win this game, and for all intents and purposes, they should win this game because the Cleveland Browns are absolutely terrible. But as we know, and I always talk about based off of their history, not only is this a divisional game, but this is also one of those letdown games. You're talking about a winless Cleveland Browns team, and you talk about a Steelers team that struggles against bad teams, and they have for years with Big Ben and Mike Tomlin. They always have. So this is where one of these situations where you can envision, believe it or not, Cleveland being able to upset them. But I think Pittsburgh has too much to play for at this point in time to allow that type of letdown to happen this go-round. I expect them to handle business on the road and beat the Cleveland Browns. I'll take the Cowboys over the Ravens. Now Dak Prescott is officially the man. I don't buy the media bullshit of trying to kiss Tony Romo's ass because what he said should have been able to have been accomplished without having to have a written prepared statement. Who actually thinks that Tony Romo wrote that statement on his own? Granted, he's stepping aside for the betterment of the team right now, but come on, give me a fucking break. Let's not make a hero out of this guy. He had to have a prepared statement to do the right thing. If I can clearly see that this guy's doing a better job than I would be at the moment and the team is doing better without me, I could come out there like a man and say, hey, I love to be out there and I want to be out there and I'm going to continue to work as if I am the starter for if and when that moment comes where this team needs me, I'll be ready. But right now, I am a team guy. It is the best thing for the team. Dak is the man, and I believe in Dak, and everybody else should believe in Dak, and I believe this team, this locker room, this coaching staff, this organization believes in Dak, and he's the guy that could take us to the promised land right now. I didn't have to prepare that or think about that. That was, about a minute or so? That perfectly eloquated everything that needed to be said. Prepared statement, my fucking ass. But I'll take the Cowboys over the Ravens. I'll take Detroit over Jacksonville. You got an AFC South matchup, which is a little more interesting. I think it's going to be given credit for the Colts hosting the Titans. I look at this matchup, and I honestly say at this point in time, based off of how bad that division is, the winner of this game, I think, wins the AFC South. I really do. I think the winner of this game ends up winning that division. And a lot of things right now point to the Titans probably because they're a better team, but, I still, for some reason, think that the Colts can get it done, believe it or not. So I will pick the Colts to win this game, even though a lot of things probably indicate I should pick the Titans. I will take the Chiefs over the Buccaneers. For all the talk about the Raiders and all the wonderful things they're doing right now, and they are doing wonderful things. They're a playoff team, and they're a threat in the AFC. It's the Kansas City Chiefs that are one of the most complete and balanced teams in all of the National Football League. They're a solid team. Because of their quarterback, they're not a great team, but they are a solid team. Now, no Jeremy Maclin again. Will that impact them? Maybe, maybe not, but it probably isn't going to matter against the Buccaneers. You got the Cardinals and the Vikings, which a few weeks ago would have looked potentially, or early on in the season would have looked like a great matchup. Now you've got two kind of wounded, limping teams here. Minnesota's offense stinks. Oh, the Sam Bradford trade. Oh, that was genius. Yeah, you didn't count on AP being out most of the year and the offensive line stinking, but also Sam Bradford stinks too. And the defense isn't stopping people like it was a few weeks ago. The Cardinals, they haven't been that good this year, but I think they're better than Minnesota right now, and I expect them to win. A lot of bad momentum right there for the Minnesota Vikings. Even with the home game, I'll pick a bit of an upset here, I guess, and I'll take the Cardinals over the Vikings. I'll take the Giants over the Bears. Lose them all, Chicago! You've spotted the Browns a 2-game lead. You got to at least get past San Francisco for the number 2 overall pick. The only way you can do that is lose them all. No Alshon Jeffrey, good. There'd be an excuse to let his ass go in the offseason. Fine by me. Fucking another game of the Cutler. Let the Cutler countdown clock begin. There's only 7 more weeks where this motherfucker is going to be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. And I can't fucking wait until that moment that he's done is finally upon us. You want to talk about a celebration, bitches. Then the real rebuilding project in Chicago can begin. I will take the Dolphins over the Rams on the road, even though it's Jared Goff's first start. I would find it very appropriate if Jared Goff came out today and he lit up the Dolphins for 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns and made Jeff Fisher look like a moron for benching him, throughout the entire season. We'll see what happens. I hope Goff does play well because that way it exposes how stupid Jeff Fisher looked for starting Case Keenum for more than half the season. Potentially cost the Rams a playoff spot by being a moron. You got the Patriots. I think are going to beat the Niners pretty badly, even though it's in San Francisco. And San Francisco just played Arizona pretty tough last week. San Francisco is not a good team by any means. They're a bad team, but they're not the worst team in the NFL. And for all intents and purposes, I think the Bears are a worse team, and we all know the Cleveland Browns most certainly are a worse team. But is this a game where the Patriots put up 50 on them? That'll be an interesting question. I think the Seahawks will beat the Eagles. Sunday night, I've got the Redskins beating Green Bay. Green Bay just looks like shit right now. Offensive, defensive, everything. They just look terrible. And the Redskins look at least solid. Not great, but they look solid. Yeah, even though I think the game is in Lambeau, I think. I'll still take the Redskins right now. And the Monday night game, I'll take the Raiders over the Texans. I'd expect Derek Carr to really seize upon the spotlight of another primetime game. It's really good to see the Raiders be good again, and they should beat the Texans behind their MVP candidate quarterback. So those are my picks this week. Hopefully I don't suck again.